Alright boys, I'm gonna show you the Benson captain right now. This is the captain build for competitive Benson, like the regular one. There's two possible builds, one is this and one is the AA Benson. This one is preventive maintenance. You basically go for this because even with the module, like no, the upgrade, you still have a chance of losing torpedo tubes or guns. Guns are not that big of a deal, but losing torpedo tube is a big deal. So you take this. Tier 2 skill is a stand. Of course, you don't want to be losing your engines or steering. We'll talk about this later. Then the third one is superintendent, because you're going to be supporting your fleet. So more smoke screens, the better. You know, you have longer chance of holding your fleet alive in the need. HP buff, of course, it's a must because, well, you don't want to die, and without the HP buff, sometimes the torpedo can be deadly, and with this, you get to survive it. Tier 4 skill, concealment expert is a must for any DD in my opinion, and then I take RPF. You can go for AFT, but that will just increase your range of your AA, and which is not too big of a deal, but it will increase your primary gun range, and that means every time you fire, your detection will go so high up that you will get detected from other part of the map, because instead of 11 point something you'll have like 13 point something or 14 km range, and that's just too much. Manual, well, in combination with AFT if you want to, then I guess it would be okay. This is useless. I have HE. I mean, you're a DD. You're not going to be shooting a lot in competitive. You don't need this. You don't need this. Demo expert, like I said, you're not going to be shooting a lot. As for the vigilance, it's a useful thing to have, but this and this are just more useful. So that leaves you with 2 4s, 2 3s, 1 of 1, 1 of 2, and you have 2 extra skill points because this is 17 right now. And then you take smokescreen expert if you want to have bigger puffs, because sometimes it can help with your when you're smoke screening. If you need a large space, you know, it helps a lot. 20% doesn't seem like much, but it is, trust me. Adrenaline rush is basically more for randoms than for competitive. Yes, more HP you lose, faster you reload your torpedoes and all that. That's very nice, but you don't want to be losing HP in competitive. That's the thing. You're trying to be full HP when the game ends, because you get spotted once, you can get deleted. It's very dangerous. Useless, well, I already said this. You don't want this because it's going to drop your range from 9.2 to about 7. That's just, you know, your torpedoes will become almost useless. Expert marksman, you don't really need it because, you know, like I said, you're not going to be using guns a lot. So it becomes either smokescreen expert, jack of all trades, -5% to reload time of all the consumables. That includes smokescreen, but 5% is like 7-8 seconds, if I remember correctly when we timed it. It's not too big of a deal. If 7-8, it might be 6. So, you know, you can do without it. And this, well, if you need to use your damage control party consumable, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, it's all useful and nice, but for competitive support type of weapon, you're basically going for smokescreen expert and last stand. There's a second build that you could go, that would be an AA Benson, which would go, of course, preventive maintenance first, because you don't want to lose torpedoes, of course. Last stand is, of course. Then tier 3 is going to be survivability expert, because you need HP, but you're not going to be needing a superintendent. It's nice to have, but you're going to be less of a support to the fleet and more of a support to the carrier. So you're going to be using your AA and not the consumables. Consumables are going to come in handy later on when the carriers are deplaned and you need to provide additional support for your fleet. So smokescreen, you know, you can have 3 with a premium one. So It's okay. You don't have 4, you have 3, but you're supposed to be in a position where you won't be needing them for yourself, maybe once, and you will have an other DD, which is going to be, providing the support. As for the AA skills, I mean, 3 is more than enough for yourself. And then you go triple 4, you go concealment, of course, always, and then you go AFT and manual. So that's 4, 8, 12, 15, 17, 18. You have 1 skill point left. And that 1 skill point you can use for, I don't know, maybe priority target. So you know how many people are aiming at you. And that's like the AA build that you can go for. But if you're going AA build, then bear in mind, because you're gonna take... Can you just, please? Yes, alright. If you're going the AA build, your AFT will increase your range of your primary guns by 20% as well. So use the stock gunfire control system. That would be my recommendation, because this will drop your range by 10%, if I'm correct. So instead of having 11.6, you will have about 10.5, and then with the AFT, you will go up to about 12 and a half, maybe more. So from 11 and a half going up to 12 and a half, it's a lot, but it's not that terrible. Like I said, when you fire, when you're forced to fire, you don't want your detection to go up too much. You want to keep it on the minimum as possible. So don't use the gunfire control system mod 2, because you would just have almost 14 km range of guns, and that's just too much. You fire, whole map can see you. Premium repair kit, premium smokescreen, premium AA defensive. This is if you have superintendent. If you don't, there's going to be number 3s here. And as for the upgrades, like I said, main armaments modification 1, because you don't want to be losing torpedo tubes. AA build for number 2 is what I'm using, because more AA. Even if it's not an AA build Benson, this is what I go for. You don't need this because you're not using your guns, like I said. Turning the turrets, you don't need it. Smoke screen generator, plus 30% of the time. Smoke generator, I just never use these super modules, really. I find AA more useful. Damage control system 1. So, you prevent chances of fires and floodings. Of course, if you want to go full AA and you think that something else would be different, it's entirely up to you. Now, the best module of all the modules is this one. I always used to use damage control system modification 2, because it's pretty damn good. Minus 15% to flooding recovery time of extinguishing. This is... it's a DD, it already turns quite good. But propulsion modification 2 reduces time of full speed. Minus 50% to time for reaching full power when accelerating. This means when you basically are full stop, you're stationary, and you want to speed up because there's torpedoes coming. Nobody spotted your torpedoes, and torps are coming, and they're pretty damn close, but you're full stationary. It takes forever, even for a DD, to speed up. I mean, if it's like a torpedo that is coming like here, alright, you can move probably your ass a bit forward, and you will miss that even without this module. But if you have torpedoes coming all over yourself, you need to speed up for a whole size of your destroyer. This is one of the best modules for DDs, because you can speed up like a rocket from 0 to about 17, 18 knots, just like that. It's very, very useful. Sometimes, even that is not going to help you, but most of the times, you will not believe how useful this is. And then, of course, the 5th one is a no-brainer, concealment system modification 1. You want to drop your detection to as far less as possible. And that's it. The upgrades, the consumables, the modules, and, well, I guess I can show you the flags as well. Right now I'm just using a whole bunch of these extra flags for farming free experience and everything, but usually what I'm using about the flags is, we'll start from the top left. AA plus 10%, it's a must. Use the India X-ray, it gives you more chance of causing fire if you have to use your guns. This one, Juliet Whiskey Unknown, or whatever it's called, the liquidator one, it basically gives you 15% more chance of causing flooding. So when you hit your torpedoes, you have a good chance of actually scoring a flood. And then you use Victor Lima, which is a witherer flag, and it gives you 4% chance to causing flooding with, what was it, 15 here? Yeah, so that's 19% more. And it gives you an additional chance of fire without any repercussions. This is one of the best flags in the game. You know, this one has a downside, plus 5% to the risk of ship's magazine detonation. This one has plus 5%, you know, so you're increasing your detonation chances by 10% with these. This one, no. Although bear in mind, if you mount the detonation flag, which is the #1 priority, it says minus 100%. Don't mind the numbers. If you have this flag on, you can have all the other flags equipped that are increasing your detonation chance, and you will still not get detonated. It doesn't matter how much you increase your chance in detonation if you have a detonation flag. It's always going to be 0. We played a million times with this strategy and we never got detonated once. So unless some miracle happens and somebody detonates with the detonation flag, let me know, please. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I take this one, India Yankee, minus 20%. Minus 20% to fire extinguishing. And these are the last two. Plus 5% to ship's maximum speed. And minus 5% to reload time of consumables. Why? Because less time for your AA and smokescreen to come up. Better speed, better maneuverability, of course. Less time of being on fire if you already used your repair. No detonations, fires, floodings, increase, and AA, and that's it. You have a maximum of 8 flags. As for the camo, it's absolutely the same as long as it has this upgrades, minus 3% to detectability and 4% to maximum dispersion. Everything else that has these and whatever, it's good enough. And as for the flags, well, that's whatever you want. That will be it. That will be for the Benson competitive captain. I hope you find this useful.